Hello, and welcome to another podcast for Sacred Sobriety, a Path for the Soul. I am your host, Timothy Berman, here to inspire you, edify you, and encourage you as you are working your way through recovery, living in sobriety, moving one day at a time, growing in faith, trusting in the process, and pressing forward with steadfast faith in Jesus Christ. For he is our higher power and our hope that we seek. He is our refuge and our fortress. And today, we want to kind of talk about something important. And I think it fits within the premise of once we come to a place of healing, once we come to a place where we are stable in our recovery, that we are actually living in sobriety, and we've experienced and tasted the liberation of freedom from substance use, from addictive attitudes and behaviors, and are in a place that we are growing in a way that we're healthy, in a way that we are experiencing healthy relationships, and we are connected to a fellowship, whether it is within a recovery room, and hopefully added on to that we are in fellowship with other believers within our Christian faith. And so today's podcast, I want to explore the deep and personal experience of being called to ministering. It describes this call as more than a role. It's a connection to a path of healing and service, often discovered during moments of reflection or hardship. For those of us who are dealing with addiction or we're seeking recovery, this call offers hope and purpose. The call may be sudden or gradual. However, it is described as something that is supernatural that we experience that compels us towards service. The scriptural basis for this call is significant, emphasizing that our Heavenly Father chooses individuals for specific purposes. This divine appointment encourages perseverance through life's challenges. Adversity is part of the journey, but it doesn't need to hinder one's calling. Staying grounded in the faith, seeking support, and using past experiences may help maintain focus. Aligning daily actions with God's purpose involves prayer, reflection, and intentional choices. Community is vital in ministering, connecting with others who share the same calling, where we're offering support and strength. Mentorship from experienced individuals may guide and prepare newcomers for their journey, helping navigate the challenges they might face. Answering the call to minister is a commitment to serve others during their struggles. This service aligns personal purpose with a larger mission. Embracing this journey involves reflection, connection, education, and action. And so the hopeful takeaway of this is that the call to ministering is a path of faith and service. It brings fulfillment and healing, not only to those being helped, but also to those who are ministering. Engaging with a supportive community enhances this journey that creates a network of hope and healing. All right, let's get into today's message of inspiration and hope. It's our devotion for living in sobriety as we are engaged in the call to become the hero of our own story. And this again comes from the devotional My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. And today's devotional is talking about the consciousness of the call. And it's based off 1 Corinthians 9:16. And here the Apostle Paul is talking about his desire to preach, and it's something that I think is very interesting when it comes to scriptures. You know, one of the nuances that I enjoy doing is to kind of not rephrase the scriptures so that it makes for us to understand it and for us to be able to apply it into our lives. There is a neat technique that I've learned over the years that when we change how the scripture applies to us, we get a better understanding of the nuance that it's expressing. And this comes from 1 Corinthians 9:16. It says, "I'm compelled to preach. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel." Of course, he's talking about preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ that came down from Christ himself to the apostles and that. Well, in a recovery setting, what is another way that we can think about this? And as I was thinking about it, I was meditating upon this. I decided to kind of do a play on words here. And it's one of my favorite hobbies. By doing these plays on words, kind of brings a different understanding and meaning to something so that I can then apply it into my life. And so I'm going to kind of change a specific word here. So I am compelled to minister. Woe to me if I do not minister within the gospel. Now, ministering comes to the idea of service, being charitable, showing compassion and kindness. And really, when it comes to recovery and when we are working with other individuals, when we're in those rooms, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, Codependency Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery, there's even a Buddhist recovery. I have the book on my shelf, which is very interesting as well. All of the aspects of it comes down to one of the things that when you go into these rooms of recovery, and the recommendation and suggestion is getting connected with a sponsor right away. And at Celebrate Recovery, it's not so much prominent. I mean, you do have accountability partners, and they have study groups, and you have men who hold men accountable, women who hold women accountable, and you make those connections. However, one of the things with like AA or NA or those other recovery rooms, one of the things that they do towards the end of the group is that if anybody is open and available to become a sponsor, please raise your hand. And so you would raise your hand. And so this is the idea of getting into being a mentor and being a sponsor. And so there is this consciousness of the call because we've been through it. We've been through the fire. We've been through the trenches, so to speak, and battling our addictions, battling the attitudes and behaviors, and putting to death so we can rise in newness of life. And so we want to be able to minister to others who are coming into recovery, who are coming into the path of working towards sobriety, so that they can experience the same freedom and liberation that we enjoy, who are veterans and seasoned members of living a sober life. And this brings to mind the idea of discipleship and the importance and integral part of discipleship. And so let's go ahead and get into what Oswald Chambers has to say on the conscious call of this idea with regards to where we're at today. We are prone to forgetting the mystical, supernatural quality of the touch of God. If you can tell others where and when you received the call of God and all about what it was like, I question whether you've ever truly received it. The call to preach doesn't come in a way that's easy to describe. It's much more supernatural. The call may come with a sudden thunderclap or with a gradual dawning. But however it comes with the undercurrent of the supernatural, something that cannot be put into words. It's always accompanied by a glow. I choose you and appointed you, John 15:16. At any moment you may break into a sudden conscious awareness of the surprising supernatural call that has taken hold of your life. The call of God has nothing to do with salvation and sanctification. It isn't, because you are saved and sanctified that you've been called to preach. The call to preach is entirely different. Paul describes it as a necessity, a compulsion placed upon him. I am compelled to preach. If you've been obliterating the great supernatural call of God in your life, review your circumstances and see where you failed to put God first. Have you placed him after your idea of Christian service or your desire to use your natural abilities? God had no competition for first place in Paul's life. Paul realized the call of God and devoted all his strength to answering it. When someone is called by God, it doesn't matter how difficult their circumstances are. Every circumstantial force that has been at work will serve God's purposes in the end. Once you agree to answer the call, God will bring not only your conscious life, but also the deeper regions of your life into harmony with his purposes. And I think that is quite interesting that this comes up with relationship to where we're at, what we are experiencing, and how we are to grow in sobriety, living a mindful, crucified life through Jesus Christ, pressing forward with steadfast faith in him. And so, what is it that I'm talking about? What does this mean for us who are in recovery, who are living in sobriety? It's all about ministering. Understanding the consciousness of the call is all about ministering. The consciousness of the call to ministering is a profound and personal experience, often warped in mystery and wonder. It's not just about stepping into a role. It's about feeling a deep, often unexpected connection to a path that guides us toward healing and service. Many individuals sense this call during moments of sincere reflection or through personal trials, finding clarity and purpose in places they least expected. For those battling addiction, seeking healing, or striving for sobriety, this call may act as a beacon of hope and renewal. It doesn't always shout, sometimes it whispers, urging you to bring comfort and support to others on similar journeys. The call to minister is unique to each person, echoing a divine purpose that aligns with gifts and passions. Understanding this call may transform the way you see your struggles, turning pain into a powerful testimony of faith and endurance. In embracing this call, individuals often find themselves on a path of discovery and growth. As they learn to minister to others with compassion, this sacred journey not only supports personal healing, but extends grace and comfort to those in need. As you explore your consciousness of this call, you may uncover a profound strength and resilience that enriches your life and those around you. Here's where we want to understand the call to minister. When you think about the call to ministering, it's like hearing a song that resonates deep within your soul. This call isn't just any kind of knowing, it's a profound stirring within that which encourages you to serve and heal others. It's crucial for those striving to overcome adversity, whether it's because of addiction, because of codependency, or a quest for spiritual restoration. And here's the supernatural experience of the call that we might have. The call to ministering often arrives as a supernatural experience. For some, it's as if a light bulb suddenly switches on, filling them with an immediate awareness. For others, it unfolds more gradually, like the dawn breaking slowly over the horizon. This process is unique to each individual, enveloped in a profound sense of mystery. You might wonder, what does this feel like? Imagine standing by the ocean, feeling drawn to its vastness without fully understanding why. This inexplicable pull may fuel the desire to explore deeper into serving others through the divine energy that ministers possess. Recognizing this urge marks the beginning of a journey to connect deeper with God's purpose. And here are some scriptural foundations of the call. The theological bedrock for the call to minister is firmly rooted in Scripture. The Bible abounds with verses affirming God's call. In John 15:16, Jesus says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that I might go and bear fruit." This isn't a casual choice. It's a divine selection and responsibility. One, because it's God's choice. This highlights how God actively chooses individuals for ministry, signifying a personal and divine selection. And then it comes by appointment and duty, where it emphasizes that once chosen, there's a commitment, a duty to follow through with the purpose he has laid out. For many believers, understanding and accepting this scriptural foundation is vital. It's like building a house on a rock, providing stability and purpose amid life storms. Knowing that you are part of a larger divine plan may inspire you to persist when challenges arise. This call to ministering isn't just a task, it's a divine appointment, echoing God's desire for healing and transformation through you. The essence of ministering lies in this deep connection, where love, compassion, and service to others are energized by a higher calling. As you seek comfort, healing, or help for others, let this call be your guide, illuminating the path with faith and courage. The necessity and compulsion of the call. When it comes to ministering, many feel call. Excuse me. Here is the necessity and compulsion of the call. When it comes to ministering, many feel a call so strong that it seems like a necessity, and an irresistible urge to serve others and spread a message of hope and faith. This inner drive isn't just a desire. It may feel like a divine compulsion, steering people toward a path they never imagined, but are compelled to follow. Those who have felt it know it's a powerful pull that transcends mere choice. Much like a river that carves its path from mountain to sea. So let's take a moment and consider how this call manifests itself, and we're going to draw from historical and personal testimonies. So, for instance, from the life of Paul, being the chief of the apostles, experienced this compulsion firsthand. Before becoming a pivotal figure in Christianity, Paul was known as Saul, a man who actively persecuted Christians. His life was forever changed after a dramatic encounter on the road to Damascus, an encounter so profound it transformed both his life and his purpose. It began with a divine encounter. Paul's meeting with Jesus was nothing short of miraculous. It wasn't a whisper, it was a thunderous shift, a blinding light that redirected his life. This encounter didn't just change his mind, it reshaped his entire life mission. And then there's where he was compelled to preach. In his own words, Paul described the call as a necessity laid upon him. He famously said, "Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel." This is more than a belief, it is an urgent, consuming need to minister wherever he went, regardless of personal cost or danger. And then there comes the unshakable conviction. Paul's journey illustrates how a divine call may transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary mission. His letters and journeys show his unwavering commitment and passion, rooted in a sense of divine necessity. And so I'm sure that if you've been in the rooms of recovery, whichever aspect of recovery you're involved in, you hear personal testimonies of the call. One thing that I like about Celebrate Recovery is that there is an opportunity for people to give up and share their testimony of where they've been, the impact that their addiction or their behavior has had on their life, and how they overcame it, what they're currently working on and working through, and they are celebrating their victory. They're sharing their stories of victory. And so we have stories where people who are once lost in addiction feel hopeless and broken. However, after a pivotal moment of clarity and spiritual awakening, many of us felt an irresistible call to help others in similar situations. Based on these experiences, they don't just change these individuals. It drove them to become a beacon of hope for others, much like a lighthouse guiding ships through a storm. And then you hear the stories of people who feel that they are missing something in their life, despite the successes they have experienced. And many times when you listen to some of these people's stories, you hear that whatever they've achieved in life, they still feel empty. They still are searching for something because it doesn't fill them. And so a lot of times these people come to a place that what they've acquired and achieved might be wonderful and good because it speaks volumes to their social status and standing within their community and peers. Really, when it comes right down to it, is that they're spiritually bankrupt and they're missing something out of that. And then they go on this process of healing. In some instances, many of them end up giving up a lot of their wealth and attachments to find themselves. And then there are those who are really struggling with, social economic issues in their lives, and may require to rise above their situation, rise above their status, and fight for what they believe in, and to push through the obstacles that might be in their way and overcome in that aspect. And so a lot of these stories serve as reminders that the call to minister is a powerful force that may drive individuals towards meaningful work, often in unexpected ways. It's a calling that not only changes our lives, that can also inspire and heal countless others. Now, there are some common misconceptions about this call. When considering the call to ministering, many people may get mixed up about what it really means. It's more than just a feeling or an idea. It's a spiritual duty that goes beyond everyday tasks. And so I want to clear some things up regarding these misunderstandings and see what the call to ministering really involves. There's a difference between calling and salvation. One of the common mix-up happens when people think that the call to ministry is the same as salvation. Salvation is about accepting Jesus and having eternal life. It's the first step for every believer. But the call to ministering is different. It's a special role that someone takes on to serve others spiritually. For instance, salvation is for everyone who believes. It's about finding peace with God and being part of His family. Whereas ministering is a specific path some people take to guide and care for others in faith. It's not just about being saved, it's about helping others find and grow in their salvation. And so it's crucial to see that not everyone is called to minister in the same way. Just like not everyone is called to be a doctor or a teacher. Recognizing this difference may help you find your unique path in faith. The call also goes beyond natural abilities. One other big misconception is thinking that ministering relies solely on natural talents or skills. While skills may be helpful, the call to ministering often goes beyond what we think we are able to do. It's more about being spiritually ready and open to God's guidance. And so we want to look at the natural skills compared to spiritual readiness. Your natural talents might help you, however, they aren't the end-all. Ministering relies on your heart's willingness to serve and be led by faith. It's about responding to a spiritual call rather than just following personal interests. It may take us beyond our comfort zones. Listen to that small voice urging you forward. It may lead you to places you never expected, pushing past comfort and relying on spiritual strength rather than just your skills. Think about it. An artist can paint without much thought, but when his art becomes a tool for healing or hope, it goes beyond just skill. Ministering is like that. It's where your heart meets a greater purpose, shaping your efforts in ways that go beyond our abilities. Misunderstanding the call to ministry may make it seem distant or exclusive. However, when you open your heart to its true meaning, you see it's an invitation to grow spiritually and help others in a profound way. And so take a moment to reflect on these truths and see where your soul is leading you. So, you feel called to minister. You feel called to sponsor somebody. You feel called to reach out to somebody who's suffering and hurting. And then what are we to do? What is the next steps? Well, embracing your call amidst circumstances. Discovering your calling is a profound journey, especially when life's challenges seem overwhelming. It's easy to get distracted or discouraged by obstacles that life throws your way. But what if these challenges are part of what shapes your calling? Embracing your call amidst circumstances means preserving and trusting that your ministry is vital no matter what comes your way. So again, let's take a moment to look at how we maintain our focus and align our life with God's purpose even during these difficult times. Well, it means that we are to consistently overcome adversity within the scope of ministering. Adversity is unavoidable. However, it doesn't have to derail our calling. Life will throw storms at you, financial struggles, personal doubts, relational tensions. So how do you keep going? Well, here's some ideas to consider. Number one, we want to stay rooted in faith. Lean on your faith when times get tough. Remember that God is bigger than any challenges you face. Build a support network. Surround yourself with individuals who support your calling and are able to offer wisdom and encouragement. Focus on resilience, recognizing that each trial may make you stronger. Let it forge your character and expand your capabilities. And then rely on your past experiences. Reflect on past challenges you have overcome. They are a testament to your ability to get through tough times. When you prioritize your call over life's challenges, it becomes the compass guiding you through the storm. And here's where we get to the heart of the message. Aligning life with God's purpose. Aligning your life with God's purpose is like tuning an instrument. It requires constant adjustment and awareness. Here's how you are able to ensure your actions align with God's calling. It begins by reevaluating your priorities. After your daily choices and habits are your daily habits and choices reflecting of your call? Make time to reassess what's important. Prayer and meditation. Use these as tools to listen to God's voice amidst the noise. And then act with intent. Every action ought to reflect your commitment to ministering. Make deliberate choices that support your call. And always seek clarity. Ask yourself, what is God asking of me today? Stay open to His direction, even if it leads you out of your comfort zone. Are you able to identify areas in your life that need realignment with God's plan? Don't be afraid to make necessary changes. Embracing your call is about finding harmony between your life's activities and God's greater purpose. Embracing your call amidst circumstances isn't just about weathering storms. It is about using them to propel your journey. Recognize that maintaining your focus is essential in fulfilling the calling of ministering that God has placed on your heart. And here's the importance of community and ministering. Ministering is not a solitary journey. Instead, it's a path best walked alongside with others who understand and support your calling. When surrounded by a community, one may find strength and encouragement, making the journey more fulfilling and meaningful. And so we want to again explore how connecting with like-minded individuals and receiving mentorship may play a crucial role in our own ministerial efforts. Finding fellowship in shared calling. So imagine attempting to navigate your way through a dense forest without a map. That's what ministry may feel like without a supportive community of like-minded individuals. When you connect with others sharing a similar calling, you create a bond that empowers and guides. This fellowship turns into a beacon, lighting up the path and reinforcing the belief that you're not alone in your mission. One, because we are coming together with shared experiences. Understanding and empathy grow when you're connected with other people who have walked similar paths. And there's always strength in numbers. Being part of a community provides emotional and spiritual support that may be a source of strength during challenging times. By appreciating others' insights and wisdom, we lay the foundation for a more robust ministering experience. And we are always to be engaged with mentorship and guidance. Mentors are like skilled navigators who help steer the ship through life's stormy seas. By offering invaluable advice and sharing experiences, mentors prepare individuals for the journey ahead. In ministering, having access to seasoned individuals who've already traveled the road you're on may be transformative. Why? Because it comes down to personal growth. Learning from those who have walked before you leads to personal and spiritual growth and helps us avoid potential pitfalls. Mentors help highlight potential challenges, enabling you to avoid common missteps. So consider that mentorship is like an anchor, providing stability and insurance during turbulent times while helping keep the mission clear and attainable. With community and mentorship, ministering transforms from an isolated endeavor into a shared mission filled with hope and purpose. Answering the call means that we are recognizing and embracing the call to minister because it's like finding a light in the darkest of tunnels. It's a pull that you feel deep in your heart, reflecting a unique responsibility and honor. This call to minister isn't reserved for a select few. It's an invitation to everyone who feels drawn to help others heal, overcome addiction, and stand firm in their faith. It begins with a heartfelt commitment. When you choose to answer the call, you're committing yourself to a path of service and love. It's about being there for others when they need you the most. Think of this journey as a tapestry where your kindness, empathy, and support are threads woven into the lives of those you help. Are you ready to make this difference? Recognizing the importance. Responding to the call is vital because it aligns your heart with a purpose bigger than yourself. It's about sharing experiences, offering comfort, and walking alongside those who face their own battles. You become a beacon of hope, guiding others toward healing and peace. Encouragement for the journey, because it is a supportive reminder that we are never alone on this journey. Others have walked this path and felt the same challenges and triumphs. When we lean on our community, when we're sharing our story, and when we're keeping true to the faith, we are not just answering a call. We are part of a greater mission to bring light into this world. And so here are some steps to consider with regards to embracing the call. For those feeling led to minister, here's a simple roadmap. 1, engage in reflection and prayer. Spend time in reflection and prayer where you're asking for guidance and clarity about your role. Connect with others, engaging with your community and sharing insights, and get the support you need. Educate yourself. Seek knowledge and training to equip yourself better for this role. And then take the necessary actions by starting small. Maybe reach out to someone struggling and offer your support. And then stay grounded. Regularly revisit your motivations to keep your mission aligned with your faith. Answering the call is not just a decision, it's a commitment to be present, aware, and prepared to provide love and support wherever you go. It's about transforming lives, including your own, and finding peace through service. And so here are the takeaways hopefully you've gotten from today's message on what it means to answer the call to minister. As the call to minister unfolds, a steady faith in Christ becomes our guiding light. Our journey may be fraught with challenges, from seeking healing to embracing sobriety. Yet each step forward in ministering brings us closer to a life of fulfillment. Embrace this path in unwavering faith. Allow Christ's presence to heal, inspire, and drive you beyond addiction and codependency. Let this calling be your source of comfort and strength. Engage with others who share your mission, for together you create a community of hope and renewal. And then take a moment to reflect on your beginning and envision the potential that lies ahead. I want to take a moment to thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this journey. And also, I enjoy what you have to say, so share your insights. And join in the conversation, in the discussion. If you're on YouTube and listening to this on YouTube, click the subscribe button. Hit the alert notifications bell to get notified of new content being published there, as well as drop your thoughts and comments in the section below on today's podcast and what it means to minister. Have you felt the call to minister? What did that look like for you? What are the different ways you think that we are able to minister? Sometimes it can just be a one and done thing. You know, you might find yourself in a moment that somebody is suffering that you come across, and the best way you know how to minister to that person is empathize with them and say, hey, you know, sounds like you're really struggling. I've been there, man. I tell you what, if you want to join me, I go to this group. It meets every week. We have other groups in the area. I would love to introduce you to some people that are going to help you through this. And so by extending that invitation in a way we are ministering, we may never see that person again. And maybe that one and done type thing. And then there is, you know, the call to minister by becoming a sponsor, becoming a mentor, becoming an accountability partner. And we want to make sure that we're in a healthy position to do that, to take on that role and commitment. Because nothing is worse than somebody who's fresh in recovery and decides that they're going to want to be a sponsor, and then they end up struggling in their own recovery process that then ends up causing another person to falter and stumble as well. And so one of the suggestions in the recovery rooms that if you're going to want to get into being a sponsor to somebody, have at least a year. I personally recommend having at least 2 years of strong, foundational, sober living in your toolkit, in your tool bag. And the reason why I say that is because when you are involved in ministering to other people, you are taking on an additional stress. And we know how we all manage stress in our recovery efforts, especially in the early stages of recovery, because stress is one of the motivating factors that leads to relapse. And so you will often hear a lot of times that the reason a lot of people end up relapsing is because they relapse with regards to their sponsor having relapse, or they relapse because their sponsor relapsed and then their sponsor enables them to relapse, and there is not a strong foundation of sober living in that is built upon. And so we want to make sure we're in at least a good place. And you think 2 years, that's a long time. Well, yes, it's a long time to commit yourself to fully engage in some type of sponsorship, mentoring, discipleship, or taking on the role of helping another person through their struggles. That doesn't mean that you can't minister while you're struggling in your own recovery as well, because you're sharing your experience with people. Like I said, you might come across somebody and you see them struggling, and you're just offering an invitation for them to come, and they come and they get connected, and you start seeing them grow in their recovery. You start seeing them change and transform. Well, you were part of that process, and in a sense, you ministered to their needs in that moment. And so there are different ways we can minister. There are different ways we can embrace the call. And what I was talking about with the 2 years is when we want to take on the responsibility and role of true ministering, of true discipleship, of true mentoring. We want to make sure that we are in a place that is healthy. We have healthy boundaries set, because trust me, when you take on the role of sponsoring somebody, when you take on the role of being an accountability partner or mentoring or discipling somebody, you want to be strong in your faith. You want to be strong in your conviction, and you want to have healthy boundaries in place, because those people who are new to recovery are probably going to push those boundaries. They're going to probably push those. And so you want to be able to do so in a way that sets healthy boundaries, and let them know that you are available. However, they want to be able to be respectful of your time and attention as well. And, we all know that when we first enter the doors of recovery, when we enter the path of recovery, we are very needy people. We are in a process of still surviving. We're in a process of still begging for attention, begging for relief, begging for rescue. And so this is where we want to be in a position where we can help guide them through that process while maintaining our healthy boundaries and maintaining our sober lifestyle. And so I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for listening and tuning in, and hopefully you get to hear some wonderful thoughts from you on this topic of discussion. And as always, stay informed, be true to your faith, and if you want to support Sacred Sobriety, A Path to the Soul, subscribe to the podcast over at podbean.com. Listen to this podcast on iHeart, Amazon, or Spotify. Go over and subscribe to Mindful Latter-day Saint Christian Living and Apologetics, where this podcast is also promoted, and you can engage in the conversations there as well. And then you can go to the website Sacred Sobriety that is on Blogger. I'll have the links in the descriptions for either the YouTube channel or the Podbean platform. And there is also a new page on Facebook that I just completed specifically for Sacred Sobriety, A Path for the Soul, where we can then engage in the conversations and get connected to the necessary resources as well. And as always, you are welcome to go to my Patreon and become a Patreon sponsor and enjoy a 7-day free trial when you subscribe and become a member. I opened up a chat so that way you can have a private place to chat with me and also chat with other people who are in recovery, working in sobriety. And it is a safe space. It's $5.99 a month, and you get access to not only early access to content before it goes live on Podbean, YouTube, and other website platforms. You'll also be able to get additional content that is not being promoted for general public consumption. And so there are things that I'm working on. One of the things I'm working on is getting some worksheets put together, and working on some cognitive behavioral tool things, workshop that's an 8-week course that you'll be able to do on your own time and work through. These are CBT tools that I use myself that has helped me, and they're just simple, practical tools that's evidence-based. Again, as always, this is not to take the place of therapy. I'm not here to offer therapeutic advice or professional diagnosis, that is left for the professionals. And if you're in need for professional services, we'll be able to get you connected with those. Hence the reason why I opened up the Facebook page, so I can provide those resources depending on where you're at and location. Some locations may not have the available resources that are needed. And stay informed. And if also you want to just say thank you and you don't want to join Patreon, but you do want to make a donation to help offset some of the costs that are required for the software programs, for the platforms, you can do so by hitting the Buy Me Coffee link. And through that Buy Me Coffee link, you are able to make a donation for my efforts in promoting this and encouraging you and edifying you to grow in your faith and stabilize in your recovery. And I thank you for this opportunity to share this with you. And you have a great day.